Support for Wrestlezona comes from the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, offering wrestling-themed merchandise and collectibles. More information at WGSPHX.com. That is WGSPHX.com. Hope you're having an amazing one, Wrestlezona family, and welcome back whenever you happen to be tuning in. My name is Lance Reese, your definitive host for the hour. I've been a fan of professional wrestling since I was about 6 years old, begging my parents to buy me action figures ever since I saw videos of Jeff Hardy's Swanton bombing on YouTube.
Hope you're doing well today, my creatures. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Legend Adams. I've been a fan of pro wrestling since I was 5 years old, watching clips of WrestleMania 17.
Yes, that is true, guys. We have our first ever co-host, and hopefully you just are the co-host. Like that'd be great. Welcome to Wrestlezona, Legend Adams.
Yes, I have nothing better to do with my life. So I'm doing a great show like this.
It is a great show, and we're going to be talking all things wrestling for you this hour. And we got another fun episode for you today, as we here on episode 21 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. We'll cover what's happening in WWE, All Elite Wrestling, the Indies, and even wrestling here local in the Valley. So, kind of like digressing into what's been happening with WWE, I've been seeing a lot of social media clips of the Fan Fanatics Fest that's going on, and I'm not like, do you know what's like the logistics of that? Because I really don't. Do you know it's like
The logistics of wrestling clips?
No, not wrestling clips. I guess the Fan Fanatics. Like, what's up with that? I see the I guess they're just like doing different trials with fans and celebrities and wrestlers. Like I saw DJ Khaled doing Stone Cold's entrance down the ramp.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did see that the other day. That was I don't even know for the full extent. I saw I think Alexa Bliss was at this like Fanatics Fest, dressed up as the Fiend, and that was really cool. But I don't even like. It's a complete like, it's a fever dream almost for me. Growing up and seeing all these people and seeing them, like trolling and dressing up as like different wrestlers and stuff like that is actually bizarre.
Yeah, it's like, I agree. Growing up, it's nothing I would have expected to see like under like a Vince McMahon kind of WWE. Like
Yeah.
even with all the crazy public appearances back then, like you'd never really expect something like that. Like
Exactly, right.
like
And I never thought I'd see people at these events. Like there was one, I think I saw a picture of this short little kid like standing next to, of course, taller than Hornswoggle, and it was really funny.
oh jeez, like my favorite's got to be the clip of Cena going up to the punching bag. You know, you hit the punching bag, you try to get 999 or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And he hits a fake punch or two on it, and then he turns to the crowd and says, I haven't been hitting anyone for real for the past 25 years. And then he bows and he walks off.
well, he kept it real.
He kept it
He
real.
kept it
When he said he was going to ruin pro wrestling for everyone, he actually meant it.
Yep, he really did. Next thing he's gonna tell me Santa's not real.
Oh, man. He's
That would be. I got that ruined for me when I was 4. It's okay, John.
Yeah, we don't need Cena for that. We got our parents to blame.
John Cena, honestly, it like partially is the reason why I like no disrespect to him, but like his era of being Superman made me a Batman fan in the sense of I hated him. Like I remember every single like opponent that came up to bro when I was younger, I was like, please end him, humble him, humble him, humble him, humble
Dude,
him.
it's crazy. They'd have him like beat Mark Henry and Big Show in a handicap. It's on some like
Really?
episode of Raw or just something crazy.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's
every
insane.
week.
And I can't wait to watch him lose.
Who do you
What's
think?
crazy
Who
is
do you
like
think
the
he's
last
gonna?
like. Go ahead, sorry.
Who do you think he's gonna lose the title to?
I want him to lose it to literally anybody it's possible, bro. Like when R-Truth came back like a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, there's something there, you know. And Because R-Truth, I feel like, has always been an underrated superstar. I feel like WWE has never used his talent correctly. Because if you've seen him in, I believe, TNA, he was like a main card guy, and he was performing really well. And then they gave him this very silly, gimmick in WWE where he's never taken seriously, but somehow used in these serious storylines, and it just doesn't work the same. So I would have loved that.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would love to see it conclude with Punk becoming champion, but with the Night of Champions happening so soon, I don't think Punk is gonna.
Yeah, I don't
win
think
the
that's
belt.
happening, but that would be a great little send off, and it would finish that little storyline very well, because that was one of my favorite rivalries growing up as a kid, watching CM Punk and Cena.
Punk versus Cena. Talk about a rivalry. That's
That beautiful rivalry, man. Like, never had I ever seen, watching on Raw Live, seeing a dude sitting there on the middle of the stage, look at the audience, talk trash about the company he is currently standing in the shoes of, and calling John Cena trash. Just absolutely, just raining on his parade, and then all of that, and then Blood, like, we go to Money in the Bank. He beats him, takes his title, kisses Vince McMahon, and then dips. Like,
it's insane, man. Wrestling is so ridiculous. I love it.
Wrestling is ridiculous. It's very ridiculous, but some of the storytelling is really nice, and if it has anything to do with Super Cena losing in the one of the worst eras of wrestling, then so be it. I mean, I love Ricochet. Ricochet has my heart forever.
Yeah. Too bad. Too bad no one respects him.
Yeah, no one does, but they really should, bro. You will never see a match like, I don't think it's a trilogy. I think they just have wrestled so many times, but literally every match Ricochet has had with Will Ospreay has been a 10 out of 10.
Oh man, I'm so grateful I got to go to Double or Nothing and see Ospreay versus Hangman.
Yeah. I mean, Will Ospreay is a legend, Hall of Famer for 100%. Nobody can take that away from him.
How do you think Will Ospreay would fare in WWE?
He has very legendary status, so we could see it something like how they did AJ Styles. The only thing it's going to be really based off of is if he can talk on the mic for real and hold up in the WWE. And if he can do that, then they might take him seriously. And if he's on NXT, he'll be perfectly fine. The only thing I'm worried about is him in the main event scene of like Raw, and him faring with the big guys and seeing like how they're going to do with him. But he deserves to be main event material in anywhere he goes.
Yeah,
it's just going to be really based on promos.
My issue is they won't like do much with him in AEW. Like they won't even make him world champion.
Right, and I feel like Triple H might do something with that and be like to just been the face of AEW and just be like, let's try and make him at the very least higher than a mid-carder. And I think that would be fine. And I think either that or put him in TNA. But like, there's many avenues that they can do with Will Ospreay that I don't think AEW would.
I feel like a heel Will Ospreay with the U.S. title, and he's like disrespecting the states or whatever. That'd be interesting.
That's possible, as long as they don't do it how they do it with every other anti-American gimmick, like Rusev, Bad News Barrett, Cesaro. Like, because the way they do it with those guys, it seems like they don't like their country, but also it seems like fake to an extent, and it just seems like, granted, it's kayfabe, but they make it seem like they really don't care and they're just paid. And then there's just Rusev, who is Rusev.
Dude, thinking about that faction with Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio and whatever.
Oh yeah, the League of Nations.
The League of Nations,
dude.
Oh my goodness. Like,
bro, one of the most insufferable agents. Actually, no, let me not say that. I think the most insufferable was Jack Swagger Cesaro and that random bearded dude. I can't remember his name. That one was worse. But the League of Nations had potential for sure. They just cut off the faction like very short.
Yeah, well,
Like, I swear it was all of that year that maybe they were a thing, maybe a little longer, and then that was it. And nobody, like, they stopped caring about them. Because that's a bunch of main eventer guys. Like, Alberto won the title. Sheamus won the title. Magnus Barrett could have won the title. He was main eventer. Who else was in that? Who else was in that faction? There's those three, and there's one other person, I think.
which
But anyway,
yeah.
they're all main eventers, and they all had an opportunity to like be that dominant staple. Rusev was the other guy, and Rusev also had main event status too. Yeah, no, they all could have done something with that. It's another. It's also like how I feel about the Social Outcast group with like Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, and those people.
Yeah.
Like that could have been like that could have been something that they could have used, and they could have made some big storylines with them, and they could have made them something, but it just didn't work out that way. And ultimately, now fast forward, and you could argue Slater was semi-successful, but other than that, not really anyone else in that group, at least as far as WWE goes. It kind of just became a staple that people meme about in the same way we meme three-man band.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
What are your I like that you mentioned Slater. I love the I Got Kids shirt.
The I Got Kids shirt might be the most.
I think
like,
that's the
best
most
shirt
like
that-
unintentionally hilarious piece of wrestling merch ever.
Yeah, I think it might be the best shirt WWE has ever sold, and this coming from a person who has nothing but Jeff Hardy shirts. I literally love that shirt to death. Also, Heath Slater's tag team with his run with Rhino was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. What?
Yeah. His run with Rhino was
crazy.
pretty cool, and it made it. You could take. Obviously, you still can't take Heath Slater seriously. If anything, you just can't take Rhino seriously now when he's in that tag team. But it helped us, appreciate him a lot more. It's something like that could have saved Nick Nemeth's career when he was Dolph Ziggler in WWE. I feel like if you want to try to get him over, but without making him like the main event card, you could have just put him with a silly guy, made a silly tag team, and then people would appreciate him more. But they didn't do that with him.
Yeah. Dude, thinking about Rhino, he's been everywhere. Literally everywhere.
That sounds like Rhino. Rhino might be the pit bull of professional wrestling. He's Mr. Worldwide. He's literally that, but pro wrestling. I'm not surprised. One day I'll see him. He's posted up in Kentucky. The other day he's posted near the White House. Like, he is everywhere, bro.
From the ECW arena to the federal office.
Yeah. He's gonna be in I don't even know, like Canada, posted up with Jinder Mahal.
Dude,
oh my goodness, he's gonna gore Jinder Mahal.
I feel like if I saw Rhino in a Walmart, I would genuinely be scared that he would gore me.
Yeah, no, I think I would see him in a Toys R Us and a Macy's and just absolutely be terrified. Because I don't think he's that tall of a fella, and this is just me basing off of me seeing him. Hold on.
On TV.
Yeah, he's 5'10". He's 5'10". I'm 6'3". So yeah, no, I'm fine, but that's also not taking into the fact that he is a big man.
He is wide. He is a wide, large man, and
he is a wide man. I never want to have the hardcore title because this man might come around and gore me. Yeah, it was such a fun, the little fun skits in between that with both the hardcore and 24/7 titles. It was always fun, and I loved that what it did as far as entertainment, because otherwise you would get a lot of filler or these storylines that were trying to be serious, but it was hard for me to take seriously. But then you had the 24/7 title, and you would have these silly skits of R-Truth and other people running and this and the third, and it just added joy to it. I remember my favorite WrestleMania, as I mentioned in the intro, is WrestleMania 17. I think that's the best WrestleMania that's ever happened. And there was this hardcore idol skit on WrestleMania 17, and in that skit, it was, if I'm not mistaken, the whole match, it was Kane, Big Show, and what's the ECW guy? Raven. And it was to the point where they were going through walls and stuff like that. A guy is driving in a buggy and literally almost shut down the entire show because he drives by a wall, and the wall is near like some power lines, if I'm not mistaken, and that almost crashed the entire show. But stuff like that was so entertaining to watch. Now for me, WrestleMania 17 is the best for other reasons. Like, it also has, in my opinion, the best match of all time with TLC 2, with Edge, Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. But Raven, Big Show, and Kane's little hardcore match kept me entertained enough, and it gave me the love for the hardcore title, even as filler as people think it is.
It's such a cool design, that belt.
Yeah, it was a real gem of that. Like, that whole era transitioning into the Ruthless Aggression era shortly after was some of my favorite. Like, a lot of people they always romanticize the Attitude Era, and like the Attitude Era, obviously what it did for wrestling, hands down. I mean, you can't top something like that. But transitioning into the Ruthless Aggression era is such an underrated era of such silly gimmicks and like funny storylines, but also like just great wrestling. You get start of the WCW and ECW guys coming, so you get Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. You get all of those guys. You get some lower card people like, unfortunately, Chavo Guerrero, but you get like. And then you get silly guys like Carlito. Like, there's so many. You get Hornswoggle comes into the scene. Like, you get like all of these great guys. Mr. Kennedy, before he botched a back suplex. Yeah, before he botches a suplex and gets fired. Like, it's all like, you get the whole storyline of him of Vince McMahon having an illegitimate son, and then it being Hornswoggle. Like, you'll never get an era like that ever again.
It's crazy because, like, you think you know so much about wrestling, then you can go back to, like, a 2003 SmackDown episode, watch, like, any, like, minute of it, and you will learn something new. They were just
100%.
pulling out the stops and doing whatever, and not, like, in the Attitude Era way where they were just going for whatever was raunchiest and could get, like, TV ratings, but seriously, just anything. Like, anything they thought, I guess Vince thought was entertaining.
Yeah, I remember like watching a Raw episode, and I just put a random one on, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I gotta know where this is going. I know all the main storylines. Wait a second, is that The Rock wrestling Hurricane Helms? And he's wrestling, bro, and they're low-key boxing. They scrapped it in there, but Hurricane wins. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting them to put put Hurricane Helms over in that era. And there's also another one I saw. It was, I want to say, The Rock is fighting someone. I can't remember if it was Stone Cold or who. Hurricane comes out. The Rock gets distracted and loses in a very short time. I'm like, there's no way they're putting the Hurricane over in this high event match. Now, obviously, they didn't go that far. But it was so surprising to me. I'm like, bro, what? Well, there was this other one that I've clipped before because I used to do wrestling YouTube videos when I was younger, like best and funniest moments. Mm-hmm. And there was this clip where it's Chris Benoit and this dude named, I want to say, Orlando Jordan.
Orlando Jordan, yeah.
Yeah, Orlando Jordan. And the whole gimmick is how fast Chris Benoit can bury him. And I think the shortest time was like 24 seconds or something around that on SmackDown. And it was just so sad. Like, I know it's, Orlando Jordan, and also there wasn't that much for bro to do in this era of SmackDown, but it's just so sad to see him get absolutely buried in 24 seconds.
Yeah, bro, back to OVW.
Yes, bro. It's very unfortunate to see, but also there were so many weird gimmicks in there. I mean, there was Heidenreich's character who was just a guy in a manic episode. Like, there's that. There was...
remember Mordecai?
Oh my goodness, Mordecai!
What went wrong with that? Like seriously,
I mean, just look at him. I think you got your answer from looking at him. He was also just kind of, I don't know. I feel like if they had a feud with him and Undertaker, it would make a lot of sense. But they didn't really do that much with him anyway. When they could have, like. because the same year he was popping or the same like 3 years he was popping and stuff like that. You know who they put to fight Undertaker instead of Mr. Kevin Thorne? They put Muhammad Hassan there.
Wow.
They put Muhammad Hassan there.
That lasted a good week.
And that lasted a good week before he got the last ride straight down to the abyss and was never seen on television again after the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
So, you know, that great. Thank you, Vince, for that absolute chaos. But like, yeah, there was like so many weird ones. I'm not even going to talk about Crime Time. There was that. There was at one time where Devon Dudley was like a pastor.
Oh yeah, Reverend Devon.
Yeah, and that was like, I don't know why they did that.
I love Reverend Devon because I feel like that's just Devon Dudley playing himself, like his genuine self.
Yeah, it does seem like a semi-over-exaggerated biopic of what Devon Dudley.
Dude, Devon Dudley is probably the nicest wrestler I've ever met, and I only met him for like a couple seconds at a convention. Like he is is just a sweet, kind, gentle soul.
I mean, he seems that way.
But Bubba Ray, on the other hand,
yeah, but his name is Bully Ray for a reason in TNA. That's all you have to say.
And in the locker room.
The nicest wrestler I have ever met. Funnily enough, even though either he could barely understand me or he was just playing a gimmick and he could and was just playing with me, was the Great Khali.
Wow.
I actually met the Great Khali at, funnily enough, I think it was either an indie show or I was at a mall that had an indie show. Either way, he was immediate when I saw him and noticed him. He gave me a hug, and that was pretty nice. And his little manager guy, I don't remember his name, but he was like 5'4" on a good day. And he was like, you know, he's busy right now. He's doing stuff. And then he was insisting on, you know, getting a picture, and then my mom took a picture of me and him. Like he was a very gentle guy. The meanest I've ever met is I think the only one that I can remember, and she wasn't even that mean, was meeting Lita. Like I said, she wasn't really that mean. It's just that there was a lot of people going by the show I was in, and she had to like wrap it up very quickly. So just a bit of snap, but I mean otherwise, I mean she wasn't inherently super mean. It's not like she was the Brie Larson of pro wrestling or anything. So like I could deal with it.
I mean, I guess the most mean person I met would have to be Teddy Hart. We don't go there though.
At least, and honestly, to be honest, any of my criticisms I have with Lita go completely up the drain when I realized that she was my first WWE like women's crush. So it immediately goes out the window. I can never hate her.
Man, I'm thinking of I was thinking of the belts. Because like the Jeff Hardy belt has got to be the best wrestling belt that.
Oh, easily the
TNA,
the Enigma belt. Yeah, no, it was to the point where I couldn't buy the replica belt because the replica belt was like $200. I literally I think I still have a T-shirt somewhere where it is. I literally like printed it onto the shirt, and that's what I wear.
The lower part of the shirt.
Yeah, just the lower part of the shirt, and it's like a XXL, so it's like it looks like it's around my waist. Like it's absolutely ghetto, but it works, and it makes me feel like I was a part of the similar creatures. Like I was a part of that wave. Because when that was happening, I was like in and out of TNA. I was there to see though. I think it was a triple threat with him, Austin Aries, and Mr. Anderson, and that was really cool. That was a really fun match. And the thing I love about, I have to support my glorious king Jeff Hardy for a minute. The fact that he's been doing this since he was like 16, 17 years old, and going through all of these extreme measures that no wrestler had done before, especially the high flying stuff, one of the most influential in that game.
Yeah.
And still being able to do stuff. Now, granted, over the years, he's been, not having the same outputs as he has 20 years ago. But the fact that it's taking just now for his fatigue to hit after all this time, where people like Edge have done things lighter than Jeff has, yet he retired earlier than him. Like, that's really impressive, no matter who you are.
Support for Wrestlezona comes from the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, offering wrestling-themed merchandise and collectibles. More information at WGSPHX.com. That is WGSPHX.com. Yeah. I think the thing with Jeff is, like, I love the current day TNA climate where all the wrestlers are paying tribute to the Hardys and, like, doing three-way tags with the Hardys, like Leon Slater, for example. That guy,
Yeah.
you could tell that guy loves and grew up with Jeff Hardy. Just like the way he moves in the ring and does stuff differently. Like, he is like a disciple of Jeff Hardy. And seeing him, I got to see him wrestle with the Hardys at Against All Odds, and that was awesome. Dude, I got to hug Jeff Hardy at Against All Odds.
I know, and I was jealous, bro. I was so jealous. I'm like,
healing.
why didn't you take me, bro? Granted, he's an Onk, but I don't care. Onk Nero, bro. Onk Nero, I knew you'd come. Like, bro, I would have loved that. I would have loved that. And also,
Hardy.
like, I would have asked him to, like, I know he wouldn't have, but I would have loved it for him to, like, do my face paint one day, because his face paint is also very influential, and I love his face paint and the contacts and everything. It was so cool to me.
You see the Fiend tribute he did for Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It just sucks because, like, Bray Wyatt, we will never see a character like that done well again like we did with Bray Wyatt. Like, even before the Fiend gimmick, I really was a huge fan of the Wyatt family gimmick. It was just they kept subbing him for some terrible storylines every now and again with that, but it was still a good gimmick. But the Fiend was on a whole nother level, and so, when he passed, unfortunately, out of nowhere, it was like, whoa. And it shocked everyone. Like, you didn't even have to be a big fan of wrestling to know who he was and how nice. He was also apparently a really, really nice guy. I only met him at one live show or whatever, which he was about, like, he was either my height or a little bit taller, but no, he was very friendly. So, like, I would have loved to, talk to him more and stuff like that, but it did suck, man. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, with Bray Wyatt, I remember my first ever wrestling show. Not just my first ever WWE show, but my first ever wrestling event I went to was Elimination Chamber 2017. And that's where he won the championship for the first time. He beat Cena, Styles, Corbin, Miz, whoever else was in that. I think Randy Orton maybe.
I forgot the Miz was relevant. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, the Miz, dude. How is Miz still in WWE? Like, he is just like, I don't think that guy could ever switch companies.
I'm gonna be honest. Until you just brought it up, I forgot he was still in the company. Like, okay, like, don't get it twisted. When I was younger, I felt like I overhated Miz's character. I think he was a decent heel. Like, he was unlikable, trust me. He was, whenever you think of the Intercontinental Championship, you kind of have to think of either John Morrison or The Miz. And he kind of revolutionized the superstar in a quite literal sense. And, and his promos were cool. But then you advocate that for the fact that he's been wrestling for too long, way past his prime. He has sloppy matches to an extent. He does make other people look good, but making him look trash. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a Facebook post saying he has the most losses in WWE history. Like, he's kind of just a walking L now.
Yeah.
And there's no point in keeping him in the company unless you're trying to renew his gimmick. But he's been the same boring gimmick for the last, 15 years in the company.
He had some good matches mid-2010s with Dolph Ziggler over the IC belt. I can't lie there.
That is very true. But also, Dolph Ziggler can also make anybody look
I
good.
was sitting here thinking the same thing. He can make anyone look good.
Literally, Dolph Ziggler can make any wrestler look good. You could put him in the same ring. You can make a triple threat match with Eugene and the Big Show. Or no, better yet, Fatal 4-Way. Eugene, Big Show, and the Great Khali. And the Great Khali and Big Show will look like absolute demons. Like, you actually take them seriously in the ring with Dolph Ziggler in there. Matter of fact, we've technically seen this, where he has decent matches, not the greatest, but still decent matches with both Khali and the Big Show. So Ziggler can make anyone look good. The Miz can semi do the same thing, but also the Miz is trash now.
Was the Miz ever good?
I don't know. It's like if you had a, like, don't get twisted. I hated Baron Corbin back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you put these two in a match together, well, firstly, I'm just not going to watch it. Firstly, but let's say I had to watch it. If I had to watch it, I don't know. I think I'd be probably more entertained by Mr. King Corbin over there.
Yeah, he's
Unless of course the Miz's wife is on the sidelines, then I will be rooting for the Miz.
Baron Corbin has always been a guy I haven't really cared for, I guess. Like, he's not the worst in the ring, but he's not the best.
Yeah, he was never the best. He's kind of second place in about everything he does. Even when he was United States champion or the Money in the Bank holder, I was like, oh, that's great. The only reason why I was rooting for him when he cashed in the Money in the Bank is because it was Jinder Mahal who was champion, which is low-hanging fruit at this point. And it didn't matter at all. And I don't know how I would last if he stayed WWE champion like longer than a month. So honestly, it worked out pretty well. It's just, for me, the great heel figures, aside from maybe like Roman and Cena right now, we don't really get that much anymore. We don't get like the Kevin Owens or the Edge or the CM Punk when he was in Straight Edge Society. Like, we don't get those guys anymore. Like those big staple heel figures that make you like hate them, but like you also hate them because of how good they are. Yeah. Baron Corbin I hate, which is the job of the heel, but also because he's insufferable to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to have a believable heel who's like good at the same time, but at the same time not good enough for you to like actively root them. You know, like take JBL for example. That guy was randomly selected on a Tuesday afternoon or something like that.
Oh no, that was predetermined for sure.
Yeah,
that he was just going to be the insufferable undisputed champion and be a guy that we don't even care about. Yeah. Now on the mic, he is really really funny.
Oh, he is.
Like when he's on commentary or cutting promos, he is hilarious.
He is a genius at cutting promos, in my opinion. He knows how to work a crowd.
Oh, 100%. And when he's on commentary, like when he was commentating on the Money in the Bank thing in, I think, WrestleMania 21, like, he is funny. He is hilarious. It's just, that is all I care for. Heck, even when he was just John Layfield and what was that staple, APA, like, that was fine. I would have been fine with that. And if they kept that, like, oh, he's just a dominant wrecking force that'll hit a clothesline and that, you know, shakes you in your boots. Ron Simmons can do some of the talking too. Like, that was fine.
Yeah.
Like, if there was an era where 03 to 04 Edge teamed up with 07 to 09 Randy Orton, I think that would be the most devious version of Rated RKO we had ever seen.
It would have been, I don't know if it could air TV.
Like, it would have been the most devious and not even insufferable, but just absolutely diabolical tag team to have ever graced the WWE. And it would have been insane. Even in other promotions, you get good heels. Like in AEW, they had like a good bit of them. Like I would say Y2J, even though he was over with the crowd, he was, you know, that heel, and people really liked him. MJF. Then again, it's also Jericho. Like,
MJF's a great heel.
yeah, MJF was, oh my goodness.
He was born to be a heel.
He was literally born to be a menace, and it worked so great, and that worked. Obviously, Adam Cole, all of those guys, like they even to this day still got it going on. I don't say the same for like literally any other promotion. I don't see that same heel sweat. Like I said, the last time I really felt it and believed it was maybe Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Well, and Roman Reigns too, but also Roman Reigns. I never liked Roman Reigns. Most of you guys don't know, but me and Lance go way, way back. And there was an old video on my YouTube channel where I'm literally just raining on the parade of Roman Reigns' babyface run in the company and how much I despise that man. So I like his character that much anyway. So when he becomes a heel, and a really good storyline, I can't take that away from him. I was like, oh, I don't like him. Who would have guessed?
I've been getting...
But no, I have a lot more respect for him now that I'm older.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of, on my social media feed, a lot of Samoa Joe clips. Either like edits or full matches of Samoa Joe.
Oh my goodness, Samoa Joe. Oh my goodness. I feel like he could have been used way better in WWE because then he just became Brock Lesnar slaughter by the time he went to the main card.
Yeah, that was messed up.
But Joe walking out to that Pharaoh Moss song in TNA, like, oh my goodness, Samoa Joe, he was that guy for real. Like, he was a beast and forced to be reckoned with. I don't know what went wrong when he switched companies, but him and TNA, and he was in Ring of Honor too, wasn't he?
Yeah, dude, match with Kenta Kobashi in Ring of Honor was absolutely insane.
Yeah, and so I've seen clips of him there and stuff like that. He's even doing better in AEW. Like maybe not in comparison to ROH and TNA, but he's still doing decent and All Elite.
Yeah.
It's literally every company except for WWE, and you can blame that on multiple different things. I feel like if he was in Triple H's WWE right now, it probably wouldn't be the same as him being in Vince's. Mm-hmm. But it's still crazy to me that it's even come to that where we have to nitpick which angle. When we're talking about Samoa Joe's greatness, which era are we talking about? It's that type of thing. So we did retire Tyson Kidd, which gives you aura. So.
Yeah. Dude, I even saw a clip of him fighting Zandig in CZW. That was insane.
That was insane match. You know who else was in that era that also put on 5-star matches? It's a legend. Rest in peace. We can't talk about anybody without thinking about the legend, El Generico, bro.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to El Generico, bro. El Generico might be one of the coolest luchadors to ever come to the scene. I remember seeing that full-on ladder match with him and Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens, and the chemistry that those two had back then was untouched, and it was so great, and it made me believe in El Generico and made me believe in Rizom. And then it's crazy that man Sami Zayn tried to pay homage to him in his NXT debut.
Dude, exactly. Generico, I didn't know till recently he was in Shikara.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
He had I think he had some matches against Kota Ibushi.
Wow. Well, did he win?
I haven't seen the matches to know, but
you know what? Fair enough.
Kota Ibushi just returned to AEW like a couple days
ago. That's what's up. Kota is might be one of the best wrestlers to come from that era of New Japan Pro Wrestling and all of that stuff. I mean, they don't call him the Golden Star for nothing. Dude. I mean, and he's he'll always put on a 5-star match. He also was ripped, man. I want to get like Kota.
And I think he's one of the best storytelling wrestlers of all time.
Easily. He can easily tell. Even in the ring, he could just tell a story he let his hands, his feet, and his emotions, do the talking.
Even against, a plastic doll in some Japanese banquet hall.
Exactly.
He can do it.
Another person that I think is really good with that, especially when he's fighting people like Kenny Omega, it's Okada, bro.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited for Okada versus Omega at All In. I think it
Oh
will
yeah,
it
that's
will
gonna be amazing.
it obviously, like, unfortunately, I hate to say this, it will not do as well as Gunther versus Goldberg, I think.
Probably not.
But like
Yeah.
who cares about Goldberg in 2025?
Okay, so here's the thing. Goldberg is past his prime. It's obviously who would have guessed. But another thing is, they, and this is low-key WWE's fault.
Yeah.
They ruined him.
Yeah, no,
Because
you're right.
WCW, they made him look like an absolute beast. They made it to where and they almost messed it up with the stun gun thing. But regardless, they still made him a force to be reckoned with, had that undefeated streak for a long time, retired Bret Hart on accident, which still has aura points, and, still made him that guy. Then they put him in WWE. Firstly, they start that entrance thing where like they show him backstage walking, which really takes away the surprise that he's debuting and that it's him. Don't get it twisted. Me seeing him in a WWE 2K17 DLC, I thought that was tough, but now looking back at it, it's like, why would you do that? And then he has a stupid gimmick with not even gimmick, the stupid segment with Goldust. Which, if you're doing a segment with Goldust, automatically your serious card is taken by like 20%. Yeah. And then he goes in the Elimination Chamber. He's eliminating everyone. Down goes Van Dam. Down goes Jericho. All of these people are gone. It's just him and Triple H. And then all it takes is a sledgehammer to the back of the head, reversing a spear, and a 1-2-3 count after 5 seconds.
Biker Shorts Triple H is crazy.
Yes, exactly. And, granted, this isn't the first time something stupid with Triple H happens. This was also the Reign of Terror era, so this was also, when
Booker
he
T
does a pedigree to Booker T, you wait 20 seconds, and then he pins Booker T, and that's it, which was also stupid. But this all because Goldberg said he didn't want to go to a live event. Like, oh, my goodness, it was silly. And then by the time he actually won the title at, I want to say, SummerSlam later that year, I can't remember. But by the time he had won that title,
it meant nothing. Firstly,
all of his aura is gone. He's not that beast anymore. But also, then he loses it shortly after, and then you get WrestleMania 20 when he fights Brock Lesnar. And it's like, okay, and then after that he's gone. It's like it's nothing satisfying. So by the time they set it up for him to come back a decade later with Brock Lesnar, which, keep in mind, I want you to count this. The entrance is longer than the match he's in. The match is shorter than his entrance music. That alone should tell you how much of a joke it is to have him in here. So him coming back for the third or fourth time, it's like nobody cares anymore. Goldberg is not that beast anymore. He hasn't been the beast for ages. Now, I'm watching my words here before he busts down my door and says, "You're next," and then spears me into oblivion in the stadium that has the Georgia Bulldogs. But at the end of the day, I'd rather see Gilbert in the ring than see Goldberg.
Yeah.
His cameo in The Longest Yard was tough, though.
It was. Dude, all their cameos in that movie were pretty good. Even Great Khali.
Yeah, you're right. That was kind of funny, too. That was a really good movie for cameos.
What's your favorite wrestler cameo in a movie?
My favorite wrestler cameo in a movie, it'd be generic to say, but Hogan and Rocky in the Rocky franchise was cool. Also, granted, it is a wrestling movie, so I don't know how much you count it, but I'd say Diamond Dallas Page and Ready to Rumble was pretty, because that movie is silly and also trash anyway, but having some of the wrestlers in there kind of made it kind of funny. And Diamond Dallas Page, I think it helped a lot in that movie make it a little funny. Yeah. And it worked. And so I like that. I liked, as stupid and trash as those movies are, John Cena and the Fred movies were cool.
Yeah.
That one worked. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Macho Man in Spider-Man?
Yes, he was the wrestler opponent.
Yeah, it was like I think it was Bonesaw. Like,
Bone,
yeah, that
yeah.
guy was cool. And also obviously Roddy Piper and They Live.
Mm.
You know, like he was good. The Rock in any like of those movies. Obviously, he was in Fighting with My Family, but also
I
I
was
like
gonna
him
say
in
The Rock and Moana.
yeah. Or see, I'm not big on Dwayne Johnson's acting in modern day movies, but I like I like his voice acting, and also the game plan and Tooth Fairy were classics.
For me,
So,
you can't beat Andre and Princess Bride.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably the best the cameo gets in wrestling. Andre the Giant just fit that role perfectly for obvious reasons,
It's like he
and
lost, like in the best way possible. He lost every sense of wrestling and just became that character. And
yeah,
that character has become like much more than him in his wrestling career. It's just like,
yeah, and it's just Andre the Giant overall. Like respect to him. I think that Andre's performance in that movie was like a great staple of what he could have been and taken as a wrestler. But unfortunately as a wrestler, it just he was a person that could put people in seats. But as far as like keeping them entertained for a wrestling match, it's just unfortunately his body was getting too big for him, and
yeah,
ultimately he just couldn't put on the greatest
just
performance, except for
it's
obviously with
so
Hogan with
terrible
WrestleMania
that
3.
his peak popularity was at his peak like worst physical peak.
Exactly, and it's just you hate to see it, to be honest. I wish that it wasn't like that. Because, and I would have loved to meet him in real life. Like, what you telling me, bro is big stepping with a size 58, like in men's. What do you mean, bro? 7'4", 520 pounds. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I'd be afraid to sit next to sit in the same chair, like lunch table with
Dude,
bro.
I was talking with Tito Santana on the show once, and he was talking to
Mm.
me about how he had to share a taxi ride with Andre, and he was like tilting the car just by sitting there.
I can imagine that. Like, I'd be afraid. Like, how did he get on planes? Like,
I don't think he did.
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's
They had to
happening?
ship him out by cargo to all Japan.
Exactly, bro. They had to Madagascar his butt back to over to France. Like, there's no way he's lasting on the plane with five other, because all of those dudes were large because they were all doing roids and a bunch of other stuff. So they're like all large people too. So being on the same plane as Macho Man, Hogan, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Andre, Jorge Gonzalez, like Yokozuna was in that company too. Like, you couldn't get all of these guys on the same flight without a plane crash happening. So you had to there's no way that they didn't just like ship them like on a boat. Like,
like
that's
a
really
circus
insane to me.
attraction.
Yeah. Oh, and the Ultimate Warrior. Sorry, I forgot. Like, yeah, no, there's no way all of these people were on the same flight.
How do you even like get those personalities together in one? Like the 80s was like early 90s were so weird because there was just
Yeah.
so much larger than life personality. Like you can never replicate it in a modern climate if you try.
Yeah, but that at the same time, I don't. They probably definitely clashed heads at some point because there's
easily.
there's like no way that King Kong Bundy is having a rational conversation with Bret Hart.
Yeah, bro, and it's like you're on a 300-day schedule and you're just working your butt off day by day. Like that's so miserable.
Exactly. Like, there's no way these personalities work. And low key, we saw some of that with the plane ride from Heck about like a decade after all of that.
Yeah.
So like, we definitely got the most out of personalities clashing and this, that, and the third. And I feel like if Brock Lesnar was in the mix in general, your like mental capacity is going to be shortened by 2 years. But it's definitely crazy to think that in the same era with people like Hillbilly Jim and the end of Georgia Steele's run. You also have people like Ultimate Warrior and Andre the Giant, and like I said, like just larger than life personalities that you don't really see that much anymore. Like these guys got it going on, man.
Well, that wraps up episode 21 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. I'm Lance Reese, and I've been joined by Legend Adams for this hour. You got a favorite theme song you want to hear? Favorite wrestler we should interview? Give us a DM at Wrestlezona on Instagram. It's where you can find us. Did you miss a part of today's episode? Check out our website, Wrestlezona.com, as well as 88.7 The Pulse for archived episodes. You got anything to end them with, Legend?
Everybody's got a price. Somebody's gonna pay. Because Lance Reese and Legend Adams on Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse always get their way.
You heard that. And until next time. Support for Wrestlezona comes from the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, offering wrestling-themed merchandise and collectibles. More information at WGSPHX.com. That is WGSPHX.com.